Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Visheshashna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we're going through Brahma Samhita. So just give me 1 minute, which is okay. Okay, so we start. Shall we do one verse, each one of us? Then we move quicker.
Yes, good idea.
Okay.
Good idea.
Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Translation: Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin. He is the prime cause of all causes. Would you do the other one, Prabhu?
Yakachintamani Pakarasadmaskalpavaksha Lakshavateshu Shuravira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasasatasambramasemanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire, in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purple trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
Thank you, Prabhu. Lokeshwar, will you do the next one?
Yes, Mataji. Venum Konantama Ravinda Dalaya Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sudarangam Kandar Pakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Translation:
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
Thank you. Saram Prabhu, can you do the next one? Saram Prabhu, are you here? Okay, I'll do it. Alola Chandra Kala Sadvana Malya Vamshi Ratnan Gadam Pranaya Keli Kala Vilasam Shyamam Tribhanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Translation: I worship Govinda, the primal Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with the moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with flutes and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shyamasundar is eternally manifest. Text 32.
Okay.
Chitra will do it now.
Oh, good.
Angani yasya sakalandriya vippimanti Pashanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti Ananda chinmaya sadujjvala vigrahasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Translation: I worship Govind, the primal Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged function of all the organs and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. Thank you.
And Anjani will do the next one. अद्वैतमच्युत्यमनादिमनन्तरूपम् आद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमदुर्लभम् आत्मभक्तो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. Translation: I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purush. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming. Nabi Prabhu, would you do the next one?
Yep, definitely. Pantasukoti Sattvatsarasampragamyo Vayorathapi Manaso Munipungavanam. Oops. I just gone little too. Pantasukoti Sattvatsarasampragamyo. That's it, yeah. Pantasukoti Satavatsar Sampagamyo Vayorthapi Manaso Munipanga So Apiyasya Papasinya Chinta Tatri Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. Only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayam by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. Extraordinary verse. Sure.
Thank you. Lokeshwar, would you like to do the next one?
Yes, Mataji. Eko piya sora chayitum jagad anta kotim yachakti rasti jaga anta jaya yad antaha andanta rasta paramanu chayanta rastham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and at the same time, such as the primeval Lord whom I adore.
Thank you. Sitaram Prabhu, will you be able to do this one? I can't hear you.
Sitaram.
Yat
Good.
Yes,
Good. Very good.
Yat bhavita dhiyo mami jasta thaiva sampra rupama himasana yana bhusa suktaryam eva nigama pratitai stuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Translation:
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suttas told by the Veda by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, souls, convenience, and conveyance and ornaments.
Thank you, Prabhu. Text 37, Anjali. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitadhi Tabirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalapi गोलोक एव निवसत्यखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. Translation: I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Golok, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the aesthetic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities, in the company of her confidant Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rest. Thank you. So we have been reading the purport and it's rather long. So what I have done for the other parts, I've just highlighted some bits so that we can move to the next verse.
Good.
So the 64 activities in fine arts and crafts has been described, and then these arts are said to be Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has specified that these arts are manifested in their own eternal forms and are ever visible in the region of Goloka as the ingredients of rasa. And in the mundane sphere, they have been unstintedly exhibited in the pastimes of Braj by the spiritual chit potency, Yoga Maya. So these very pastimes exist in their non-visible form in Goloka, beyond the ken of mundane knowledge. In his visible pastimes, Krishna sojourns in Gokula, Mathura, and Dwarka. So these Sri Rupa and Sanatan Goswami have said that there is no real and essential distinction between the Leelas, visible and non-visible. The only distinction lies in this, that one is manifest in the mundane sphere, whereas the other is not so. So whatever happens is, whatever we can see or whatever we can understand depends on the absolute purity in the seer and the seen. So we can't judge by our mundane knowledge or whatever is happening in Vrindavan, in Gokul, etc. So it depends on the devotee's degree of self-realization, the vision of the transcendental reality varies according to the degree of self-realization. So this is very important. We can't judge, we can't put anything of our mundane knowledge and try to understand what the Leela is going on. So another important thing, impurity, unwholesomeness, foreign elements, illusion, essence, unholiness, utter inadequacy, insignificance, grossness. These appertain to the I, intellect, mind, and ego, stultified by the material nature of the conditioned souls. So we have to be very careful because we are conditioned souls and we can't really understand the transcendental pastimes of the Lord at times. So the more one is free from these blots, the more one is capable of realizing the unqualified absolute. All manifestation by the chit potency, Yoga Maya, are pure. So as the above paramoshit is the creation of Yoga Maya, it is necessarily free from all contamination and appertains to the absolute reality. So whatever is happening in Gokul is under the influence, under the of Yoga Maya. So Yoga Maya, whatever Yoga Maya is doing, is still with our mundane knowledge. We can't really understand. So the transcendental reality underlying all the pastimes of Gokula, it's difficult really to understand. Then the further paragraphs talk about the relationship between Lord Krishna and the gopis. So again, this the influence of Yoga Maya is mentioned here. Hence, the satisfaction of the circle of all love is contrived by Yoga Maya. So Yoga Maya, whatever we have in front of us, it's all under the influence of Yoga Maya. Yeah, this is something which I found really incredible. This is French. Aid of the flute, his favorite, cher ami. So cher
Ah.
ami is a French word. So I was wondering how is it that Bhaktisiddhanta used these two words. We know that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta English is really incredibly difficult, but here it's French words.
Interesting. Thank you. Yeah, for sharing that.
So these paragraphs goes in much depth about the relationship that Lord Krishna has with the gopis in Goloka or Gokul. So really difficult to understand, but as it has been said, with our mundane knowledge, with our mind, it's difficult to really understand these transcendental activities of the Lord. So really very deep meaning of these transcendental pastimes. So this one is interesting. Whenever any dispute arises regarding the pure cognitive pastimes, such as Goloka, etc., we would do well to remember the precious advice from the holy lips of Sriman Mahaprabhu and his associates, Goswamis, that the truth absolute is ever characterized by spiritual variegatedness that transcends the variegatedness of mundane phenomena. But he is never featureless. The divine rasa is lovely with the variegatedness of the fourfold distinction of Vibhav, Anubhav, Sadvik, and Vyabhichari, and the rasa is ever present in Goloka and Vaikuntha. The rasa of Goloka manifests as Vraja rasa on the mundane plane for the benefit of the devotees by the power of Yogmaya. So very important, the rasa of Goloka manifests as Vraja rasa on the mundane plane for the benefit of the devotees by the power of Yogmaya. So very important to become a devotee and be able to understand all this. The conception of Goloka manifests itself differently in proportion to the degree of realization of the various pastimes of Braj, and it is very difficult to lay down any definite criterion as to which portions are mundane and which are uncontaminated. The more the eye of devotion is tinged with the salve of love, the more will the transcendental concept gradually manifest itself. So this one I put in red because really this is the most important thing that I've seen here. The more the eye of devotion is tinged with the salve of love. So really we need to be advanced devotees, really having much love for the Lord and really have the mercy of our Guru, then we are able to really to understand all these transcendental pastimes. Yeah. It's a wonderful purport, rather long and very, very much in-depth description of everything. The pastimes of the Lord with the gopis, really wonderful. So, yeah, really wonderful. There is no need there is no need of further hypothetical speculation, which does not improve one's spiritual appreciation, as the substantive knowledge of Goloka is an inconceivable entity. So, yeah, what to say more? It's difficult with our mundane knowledge and everything. We are so much engrossed in this material life, so difficult to understand the transcendental loving pastime with the Lord. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so shall we go to the 38?
Yes, I think it's a good idea because that bit you highlighted in red is exactly this verse.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So very good.
The purport is really incredibly. It's so much detail has been given, explanation about how Yog Maya has how to say, the influence of Lok Maya in this world and on us. So it's difficult to understand the transcendental potency of the pastimes. Okay, so text 38. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaramachintya guna swarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I just repeat the words one by one. Premanjana, Premanjana, Churita, Churita, Bhakti, Bhakti, Vilochanena, Vilochanena, Santaha, Santaha, Sadaiva, Sadaiva, Hridayeshu, Hridayeshu, Vilokayanti, Vilokayanti, Yam Shyama Sundaram, Yam Shyama Sundaram, Achintya, Achintya, Guna, Guna, Swarupam, Swarupam. So, would you like to have it go, Prabhu?
Yeah. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hideshu vilokayanti yam sham sundaramachintya guna swarupam govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami.
Lokeshwar?
Premanjana chudita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami.
Sitaram Prabhu?
Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santah sadaiva hidayesu vilokayanti yam syama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Hare Krishna.
Niranjani? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaramachintya guna swarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Would you like to read the synonym? Prem of love, Anjana with the salve, Churita tinge, Bhakti of devotion, Vilochanena with the eye, Santa the pure devotees, Sada always, Eva indeed, Hridayeshu in their hearts, Vilokayanti T Yam whom, Shyama dark blue, Sundaram beautiful, Achintya inconceivable, Guna with attributes, Swarupam whose nature is endowed, Govindam Govinda, Adipurusham the original person, Tam him, Aham I, Bhajami worship. Translation: I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyama Sundar, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. Let's see. Oh, short purport. The Shyamasundar form of Krishna is his inconceivable, simultaneous personal and impersonal self-contradictory form. True devotees see that form in their purified hearts under the influence of devotional trance. The form Shyam is not the blue color visible in the mundane world, but it is the transcendental variegated color affording eternal bliss and is not visible to the mortal eye. On a consideration of the trance of Vyasadeva as in the shlok, Bhakti Yogena Manasi, etc., Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, verse 4, it will be clear that the form of Sri Krishna is the full personality of Godhead and can only be visible in the heart of a true devotee, which is the only true seat in the state of trance under the influence of devotion. When Krishna manifested himself in Vraja, both the devotees and non-devotees saw him with this very eye. But only the devotees cherished him, eternally present in Vraj, as the priceless jewel of their heart. Nowadays also the devotees see him in Vraj in their hearts, saturated with devotion, although they do not see him with their eyes. The eye of the eye of devotion is nothing but the eye of the pure unallied spiritual self of the jiva. The form of Krishna is visible to that eye in proportion to its purification by the practice of devotion. When the devotion of the neophyte reaches the stage of bhava bhakti, the pure eye of that devotee is tinged with the salve of love by the grace of Krishna, which enables him to see Krishna face to face. The phrase in their hearts means Krishna is visible in proportion as their hearts are purified by the practice of devotion. The sum and substance of this shlok is that the form of Krishna, who is Shyamasundar, Nattavar, best dancer, Muralidhar, four-dove flute, Dribhanga, triple bending, is not a mental concoction but is transcendental and is visible with the eye of the soul of the devotee under trance. Wonderful, Hare Krishna. Any comments, Prabhuji?
Thank you so much, Karuna. Very, very important verse, this one. The eye of devotion is nothing but the eye of the pure, unalloyed spiritual self of the jiva. So, this is also this, what's the other verse? Om Jnanantimirandasya. When, the spiritual master, he takes out this cataract that we have, whereby we can't see the Supreme Lord through the eyes of devotion because our eyes are covered with this cataract. So here also Krishna gives this little glimpse into the spiritual world through this prema, premanjana charita bhakti vilochana. So how we can gain the spiritual world through the eye of devotion. Devotion is so important, so that we can establish ourselves as pure living entities. Very, very important verse, this one. So, and
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji.
yes,
You see, we are in this material world. We can understand it now, but after some days or 5 or 2 days, we forget it. This is our mind. Okay, we cannot keep it. We cannot keep it and remember. As soon as we read Bhagavatam, we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these things remain for even 1 hour, and then it is out.
gone.
This is material world, Prabhuji. So we all are like this. I cannot say this only I myself. All our preachers are like this. To give class itself, you must read, understand, and take the book with you, and then you do your class. It is like this. We cannot keep it. Okay, Haribol.
Thank you very much. Very good.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, Karuna, anything you'd like to share?
Oh, I will like highlight this line in red. The
Mm.
eye of devotion is nothing but the eye of true and unhurried spiritual sense of the jiva.
Mm.
So just how we've seen over there, the form of Krishna is visible to that eye in proportion to its
Mm.
purification by the practice of devotion.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Mm.
How much bhakti is important to be
Mm.
able to understand. And we can see, I was just telling Dhananjali, can we imagine that there are few devotees who can see Krishna face to face?
Peace. Mm. For sure, for sure. And when our chanting improves, we will see him face to face. Even though we're chanting, but we're listening to the ear, and we can actually see the Lord through our ears. But the chanting has to become good, and that takes time. That takes time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, you are right, Prabhu. You are right. But when you chant the holy name, as today, it's Ekadashi, we chanted
Mm.
25 or 26 round words
Mm.
today. But the pleasure, the
Mm.
happiness you get, this gave you some things that, yes, Krishna is accepting my chanting.
Mm.
Though we do not say him.
Mm.
Okay, Prabhu, Haribol.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Agreed. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, we can stop there.
Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Brahma Samhita ki jai.
Jai.